Okay, so we're back here with chapter 12. I'll briefly talk about this one. So again, we see immediately, right, to go back to the original hunger was impossible. I want you to think about that. The original hunger is going to be referred to multiple times throughout this chapter. I've already talked a little bit about, hunger in relation to beloved. But we have the mystery of beloved's nature is deepening as Denver and Setha question her but only receive vague answers. Right? This allows Denver and Setha to project their own perceptions of beloved's identity onto her. Setha sees her as she must be an abused woman, and Denver, she must be my dead sister. Okay? So what's the reader supposed to think? Beloved's actions in chapter 11 seem to substantiate Denver's belief that Beloved is a supernatural being. However, her statements and behavior indicate that perhaps she's something more than just the ghost of one dead child. Okay, and that's going to relate to kind of what we see in this really odd chapter 12, right? The scene with Denver and Beloved in the Coles house. We have here Morrison is establishing Denver's fascination with Beloved. And this scene, it's odd, it's weird, right? But it's essential to understanding the depth of Beloved's character and her influence on other characters. So let's take a closer look, paying close attention to the setting, okay? So at first, even though it's noon, right, the bright part of the day, it's dark in there. Cracks of light in the roof are swallowed up like minnows in the darkness. When Beloved disappears, Denver gets disoriented and distraught. Morrison describes it as if Denver were drowning in an icy cold stream. Finally, she decides to let the dark swallow her like the minnows above. She gives up hope, and then Beloved reappears, smiling at Denver's despair. A little creepy, right? With Beloved's reappearance, the description of the setting subtly changes. The minnows of light are now the cracked lights above and the sunlit cracks. Beloved seems to be trying to tell Denver something about herself. She points at the light cracks. I'm like this, she says. Then she curls up and moans. Denver doesn't see anything. Beloved says, me, it's me. What's happening? It's a very odd scene, right? When you're actually looking at what's happening as Beloved, right? She bends over, she's curling, she's rocking, she's moaning. Denver has no idea what's going on, right? And so in this scene, Morrison is establishing that Beloved represents more than Setha's dead child. She also represents the slaves who were brought over in the dark holds of slave ships, slaves who were faceless and nameless and who disappeared from history soundlessly, just as Beloved disappeared in the darkness, right? Denver's experience of drowning symbolizes the countless drowning of slaves in the Atlantic, and Beloved's rocking demonstrates her experience in the hold of the ship in the darkness with only a few cracks of light above, okay? So Morrison is showing us that Beloved is a multifaceted character. She's the ghost of Setha's child, the ghosts of nameless slaves, kind of this collective memory of slaves, and then the ghosts of a terrible but inescapable past, right? The symbolic of the past and memory. So Setha and Denver, moving forward, are going to have to learn to overcome Beloved's power, which is essentially the power of the past, right? How they can deal with that, how they can confront it, and how they can essentially create a life for themselves in the future, okay? What I want you guys to do is you have the rest of class, and this is going to be individual. You should have your blank sheets of paper out. And I'm going to have you choose either Denver or Paul D to write about, okay? So Denver, you would hone in on chapter 9. Paul D, you would hone in on chapters 10 to 11. I want you to write about how Morrison characterizes them in the particular chapter. How does her characterization of either Paul D or Morrison connect to one of her themes, right? That could be memory, rememory, the effect of the past, the importance of community, etc. Okay? So you have the rest of the class. This is going to be in the form of a one-pager. You obviously, if you don't get to a page, you're going to turn in whatever you have by the end of class. It's not going to be a writing grade. It's going to be solely analysis. So I want you to go back through the text. I want you to find specific quotes. I want you to look at how Morrison is using techniques to characterize either one of these characters, choose one of them, and then how it connects to one of her themes, okay? Again, don't focus so much on the organization, the flow of your writing. I really just want to see analysis, okay? As much as you can in the rest of class. Before you head out, make sure that you put your analysis in the tray on the way out, and have a fantastic weekend, you guys, okay? Get going.